You gotta watch unacknowledged.
A bunch of people out there that want to know the answers. What is the truth? And so you get, I was aboard the genetic controller that makes us travel through the cosmos and bend time and space. It's like a wormhole.
Hello there, beautiful soul. You are the truth seekers of the world just by clicking on this video. Make sure you subscribe and everything before we get started, and click the like button. Give me a thumbs up. Have been researching aliens, UFOs, contact for as long as I can remember. But why? Why am I so interested in this topic, may you ask? Well, I'm about to tell you. Some of my earliest memories in life have to do with ETs. A topic that, let's face it, is manipulated by those who hold power and control the narratives of what's going on. Unless we take control of the narrative ourselves and really do the research, we don't know. Nobody knows. So we're gonna do a deep dive on Dr. Greer and all of his work and his practices. I always believed that there was something more out there in the universe. Ever since I was a little kid, I just knew there was more. I can't explain it. Dr. Greer's practices resonate with me personally. It's through CE5 protocols, which teach us how to make peaceful contact with extraterrestrial civilizations, like peaceful instead of angry and doing what the human race does, and that's blow each other up. And nothing could be scarier than what we're doing here on Earth right now. Am I right? His tireless efforts to expose the truth behind government cover-ups. Dr. Greer is not just fighting for disclosure. He's fighting for our collective awakening and consciousness. It goes so far outside of the realm of our understanding in our daily lives that we have to kind of step back and take a minute to assess the situation. If you're super conscious and aware of energy, you're going to benefit from it. Before you start picturing like little men in saucers and only think of the tall grays, let's take a step back for a minute. What if I told you the truth about our cosmic neighbors is far more profound than we could ever even imagine? Love and enlightenment instead of fear-mongering, like the stories that we've been told since we were kids about ETs. This is where Dr. Stephen Greer steps in. Someone I deeply, deeply admire and has influenced my own work and art here on YouTube. I admire Dr. Greer for more than just his work, but for groundbreaking research. The way he's helping humanity in a whole is really, really insightful and beautiful. He's helping humanity reconnect with the universal truths, the truths that have been buried for a really, really long time. Not just another ufologist. He's a beacon of light in my eyes, in a field that's literally clouded with so much misinformation. I think it's time we educate ourselves. And I think Dr. Greer is just the one to lead us to do so in the most positive and wonderful way. Let's take a video journey together. Let's open our hearts and our minds, our souls, to the possibility that we're not alone. And that's a beautiful thing. There's nothing to fear, and it's all for a positive, wonderful, meaningful experience. I'm gonna share more about Dr. Greer's work and the impact that it's had on me, but I really want to go over some information that I have found useful. Why I think it's so crucial for us all to be informed, expand our consciousness, and start paying attention to what is going on in our world, because it's our world. The world that we live in is far more miraculous and beautiful than we could ever imagine what's going on here on Earth right now. I want you all to use your own judgment on what you think. Get rid of any preconceived notions that you had prior to this day and come into this experience and this video with a clean mind and a clean slate, and hear the stories of Dr. Greer. Dr. Stephen Greer is a controversial figure with a significant following, known for his work on UFOs, extraterrestrials, and related government cover-ups. He has both supporters and critics. Supporters of Dr. Greer might argue that he is knowledgeable because he has brought considerable attention to the topic of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. Some believe they're real and have been covered up by the governments. Some things to keep in mind are his disclosure efforts. Dr. Greer has been a prominent advocate for disclosure of classified information regarding UFOs, aiming to bring transparency to the subject. Developed the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, also known as CE5 protocols, human-initiated contact with extraterrestrials. Some people find these protocols spiritually enlightening and transformative. Through documentaries, books, and public speaking, Greer has educated many people about his views on ET life and the potential implications for humanity. Critics of Stephen Greer might argue that he's not good at what he does or isn't factual or educated because his lack of credible evidence. Many skeptics point out that Greer's claims often lack verifiable evidence and rely heavily on accounts and testimonials. If we're not listening to the people, then who are we going to listen to? You know? His CE5 protocols and the idea of human-initiated contact with ETs are considered fringe and pseudo-scientific by mainstream scientists and researchers. Some might doubt him because of financial motivations. Critics suggest that Greer's work, including paid events, docuseries, might be driven by more profit, the genuine quest for the truth. There are concerns about some of his claims and urgency with which he presents exaggerated, sensationalized, which could mislead people. So basically, if you're a follower of Dr. Greer, this is a very important, somewhat serious topic. Like, don't go out trying to contact ETs for fun or for ego. This is to overall help humanity. It's a quest for knowledge. If you're interested in UFOs and ETs yourself, Stephen Greer's work might be fascinating and thought-provoking for you. It's essential to approach his claims with a critical mind. It's crucial to balance curiosity and open-mindedness with skepticism and the demand for credible evidence. Engaging with a variety of sources and viewpoints can help form a well-rounded understanding on this topic, so do your research. I'm going to insert some clips of podcast interviews, documentaries that I find valid and caught my personal attention. And let me know what you guys think of what he's talking about here.
Nikola Tesla died, that this information that he had, which allowed for a car to run out of the ambient energy, was in documents confiscated by the FBI. And I have a Department of Defense document demanding that the FBI turn these over to the DoD. The FBI refused. At any rate, science continues because the laws of the universe are in fact universal, and they can be discovered here or around Alpha Centauri or any place else in the cosmos. By 1928 and 29, T. Townsend Brown, as well as the Kowalski-Frost experiment in physics in Germany, had determined that VHV, very high voltage systems done in a certain resonant field, could result in so-called electromagnetic-gravitic effect.
Remember where our destiny is. Our destiny is not just Earth, it's the whole cosmos. How is that going to be possible? The only way we're allowed to go outside our solar system is if we become a peaceful civilization. Otherwise, it's locked down. You know, we are considered a planet that is dangerous and armed.
Each one of us is very invested in the world as it is. We've built careers, relationships, and goals based on a world that doesn't include ETs and anti-gravity and free energy and healing devices and all this cool, abundant stuff. And so we need to understand and really know if we are ready for that investment to be disrupted.
Yes, I have, absolutely. Actually, this ET I'm talking about is probably about 4 to 5 feet tall, and they had deer-like eyes. And it came over and touched my right shoulder so firmly I could see the indentation. And all my hair stood on end. And it was this amazing event that happened with this being. It was not at all frightening to me. It was beautiful. And I think that what the interest of that particular experience, what those ETs was a young guy, 18, who had had a near-death experience, who understood consciousness and understood the central role of what's called in physics entanglement, where everything's connected.
Here's your typical street in your neighborhood, anywhere in the world. And as we bring these technologies out, the grid comes down. We don't need it anymore. When there's a snowstorm or hurricane or whatever, you don't lose power because you're not dependent on a grid that's going to be torn down by ice and snow and wind. You don't need wires. All these wires, the clutter of wires, you don't need them because every device will have its own source of energy. This could have been done decades ago. As we bring these out, all these freeways will be replaced. All the lines and power lines will go away. We can float above the surface. And in every city in the world, we're going to see this transformation. Every village in the world.
Unacknowledged?
What is unacknowledged?
You gotta watch Unacknowledged.
That one.
Okay, you gotta watch Unacknowledged.
What is it?
You gotta watch Unacknowledged.
Documentaries are basically a business, and the business is there's a bunch of people out there that want to know the answers. What is the truth? And so you get, I was aboard the secret UFO. I saw the magnetic controller travel through the cosmos and bend time and space. It's like a wormhole.
What is the most dangerous information that you know?
Oh boy. Well, there are 7-8 billion people on this planet. There are 8 billion spokes into the hub of the wheel of life, which is this quiet state of consciousness that's unbounded in space and time. A really, really critical issue. It has to do with science, technology, the future, our relationship with in space, how we go forward as a species, but also the development of conscious life on this planet that is at a level where we can interface with these other civilizations in a meaningful way, not just chasing them with a F-16 trying to blow them out of the sky.
This is wild. You've affected me, Dr. Greer.
Yeah, no, you did too.
No, you've affected me.
Hey, it's time for the truth out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not like a crazy conspiracy theorist that's like freaking people out.
Do we want to go forward as a civilization or not?
Right.
And hear the stories of Dr. Greer.
I'm Billy Carson. Dr. Greer, welcome to Disclosure.
Thank you.
For over 40 years, one man has championed the cause of developing peaceful relationships with extraterrestrial intelligences that have been visiting planet Earth for decades, if not millennia. Through his unrelenting efforts, Dr. Stephen Greer is a significant force, bearing pressure upon the government to disclose classified, secret, extraterrestrial information kept hidden within the military-industrial complex.
It was a ET. Beautiful almond eyes, and came over and touched my jacket. And I had a ski jacket on. It was very cold. Touched me on my right shoulder physically. I vanished, and I was on a craft for about, I found out later, about 3 or 4 hours.
Amazing.
And it was during that experience that we experimented with and created the CE5 contact protocol, although I didn't call it that then. And it was using consciousness and remote viewing and what I call coherent thought sequencing.
So, people are very powerful if they give themselves their birthright of higher consciousness and do it. And human or otherwise has folded within their consciousness the entirety of creation and the infinity of pure consciousness. That is literally true. So once you begin to realize who and what each of us are, you can create and you can manifest.
Where can they go to find your everything?
SiriusDisclosure.com. SIRIUS, like the star system. Their craft and their bodies resonate higher into those dimensions and then materialize in the 3D back and forth. That's how they're doing it, both consciously but also technologically. Whatever is dividing us, we have to talk about what is dividing us and how do we go beyond that. World peace would have been okay in the League of Nations era in the early 1900s. Now we have to have universal peace.
Absolutely have to put our egos aside. Our egos, the division, all of it, so that we can understand and connect on a level that we've never united together before.
Look at one of those UFOs moving. No jets, no rockets, no internal combustion engines, no nuclear, no heat signature. In fact, when you get those things operational, temperature actually goes down. Becoming a meditation teacher, I sort of became a student of the Vedas and Sanskrit and mantra and breathing meditation. And I was not talked a lot in mainstream scientific circles yet because they don't know what to make of it. When you look at the history of Native Americans, the people in India, the Vedas with the Vimanas, these things flying around the world, this sort of contact using consciousness and deep meditation with these other interstellar civilizations that the Native peoples call, the star people. That is just really common. We've made it very foreign.
I have the document. So the Department of Defense was furious because the FBI went in and took Nikola Tesla's secret papers when he died. I have a document where the Department of Defense is demanding that the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover turn that stuff over. Screw you. We're not giving you anything. So
at the end of it, I stood up and a beautiful thought that felt like it was telepathically sent to me. I know it sounds strange, said, behold what a beautiful universe God has made.
Wow.
And with that, I went right back into that state that I was in when I had died. The CE5 contact protocols have been developed to be very universal. Anyone can do it. If you believe in yourself and believe it's possible, you'll be able to do it. Really, I'm going to do a deep dive also into what are the different phenomena that happen. How does this appear? What are the manifestations of these advanced civilizations? People began to be afraid. They pick up on that fear.
Yeah.
And they back off. Contrary to the human and mutilations, all that. The actual ET events, if they sense you're afraid, they just back off. You can do this for people. You can do this with a group. At some point, we should do as a civilization on Earth.
Important topics that I feel like he mentions and discusses all the time is disclosure. Part of the planet, so we deserve to know what's going on our planet, right? I mean, gosh, I would love to know the truth for once. And the funny thing is, the more I ask about the truth online, the more crazy trolls and haters will come for me, because it's almost like they're trying to shut me down. So I don't want to seek the truth, but that's never going to happen. Let's be real. The more that we know, the more that we grow as a community, as the collective consciousness. And the closer we get to a world where we live in love and light and not have to fear every single day. There is a lot going on our earth right now. Globally, different countries, in the United States, we just had an attempted assassination of the president. There have been so many storms taking out location after location. Florida, Texas, New York just got hit by numerous tornadoes. I can't even tell you. One being with my family and my friends. EF2 touched down and just destroyed the city of Rome, New York. You'll have to check out my video on that. This work is more than just identifying UFOs or cataloging alien activity. It's more about opening our hearts and our minds to the possibility that we are not alone, and that the beings visiting us are trying to lead us towards a higher consciousness and help humanity. One rooted in love and light and unity, after all. Tireless government cover-ups, fighting for disclosure. He's fighting for our collective awakening and consciousness overall. Why do I feel so compelled to spread the awareness and the knowledge of Dr. Greer's practices? It's simple. I believe in the truth. I believe in understanding and embracing our connection with these higher beings of light, we can elevate ourselves and our world beyond the fears and petty disagreements. The interconnectedness of life itself and the possibility of a brighter future for humanity. I mean, how long has it been since you've been able to just sit back and think, humanity is doing really great on Earth? I mean, the part that bothers me, I think, the most is the fact that the government has been trying to paint extraterrestrials as something negative or bad for as long as I can remember my entire life. Truth, as Dr. Greer has shown us time and time again, is there anything but that. Here to help us, to guide us and remind us of who we are, where we came from. We're all part of this vast and beautiful universe. Taking a little bit of a risk by posting this kind of content and opening myself up to the community, weighing what I think is the truth and what I think isn't the truth. That's a scary place to be on the internet because a lot of people want to argue you. They really want to be heard. A little more passive with my beliefs and what I think about life to help the collective community, help the collective consciousness, move us forward as a global community. There's just so much to everything that we're not seeing. Actually be awake to what's going on in our government, in our world, with extraterrestrials outside of our world. One other thing I forgot to mention, that if you're already familiar with Dr. Greer's work, meditations or videos, things like that, leave it in the comments and share. There are plenty of videos and information about Dr. Greer that I haven't discovered yet. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel. And I just want to say thank you for stopping by.